Hi everybody, this is Tom Grisak. I'm here with Tony Prutch. Tony, thank you for meeting me out here.
It's good to see you.
This is his new home. He's just looks like he's scurrying to get it finished up. This is at 250 Blondy Jhune in Lucas on a spectacular lot. So Tony, tell me a little bit about this home. When's it going to be completed? And
gorgeous home. We're looking to have this completed in the next 2 weeks, if not sooner. Lots of detail. As we start going through this, you'll see some of the detail that we put in this house. This house is actually, I want to say, 156 feet wide.
Wow.
Takes up the entire lot, but one of the most beautiful lots that
it really
we
is.
built the house on. You see a lot of the AstroTurf, the swimming pools that we've built here. It's just a gorgeous, peaceful, serene.
Now, people ask me, Tony, all the time, where do the buyers come from? Where do these particular buyers come from?
These buyers are out-of-town buyers, not from California, but
okay.
they are out-of-town buyers.
All right.
And most of our buyers are coming from out of town. There's quite a few that are local that are doing their move-up still. We are still seeing a lot of the move-up.
Lots from California?
Lots from California.
Yeah. We're seeing that same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when did you start construction on this?
We started this one right at 11 months ago.
Okay.
So we'll be finishing it just under a year.
Okay. Well, one of the things I want to ask you when we go inside is there are delays that are unavoidable.
Yes.
And I want you to explain how not only is the supply line crisis hurting, but how that delays everything at home. So let's go inside.
You've seen these quite a few times before in our other homes, but this is a retracting wall. Opens up. It's 20 feet wide, and it opens up the entire family room all the way to the outside. Built-in heaters in the ceilings.
Do you have screens that will come down?
Yeah, there'll be retractable screens that go into these two pockets right here, and then two more that'll come over here. That'll actually be a walk door between those two columns there, and will allow you to go in and out of with the screens down.
It's just spectacular. Now, was this home designed from the ground up?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For these people, or you'd already built it?
No,
Okay.
we designed this specifically for them.
Isn't that pretty? Tony, explain what this is about right here.
Absolutely. These are service orders. So each trade, what we do is we go through, when I do my final punch list on the house, we have I send that to the builder. The builder takes those individual items and they type them up on a service order. That service order is sent out to the subcontractors. And then from the subcontractors, they do their work and it gives the supervisor the opportunity to check their work. So it's a great example. So I walked this house, and even though we're really, really close, these are the details. This is what makes the difference. So every one of these items is items that needs to be completed in order for this home to be clean, complete, without defect.
For you to run at the pace you are, your systems have to be great, and they are. I've been at your office and seen how everything is organized. You couldn't do it without that organization. Yeah. So tell me about what delays a home when you're building one, and then you run into like a 2 week or 3 week. Why is it hard to give an exact time when a home will close?
Well, Tom, even being organized, the issues that have come can't necessarily plan for. Give you a great example. 3 months ago, you couldn't get air conditioning units. Well, who would have thought that air conditioning units was going to be an issue? Mm-hmm. Who would have thought that paint was going to go on allocation? Who would have thought, that windows were going to become an allocation, that glass was going to be an issue, things like that. So while we've tried to stay in front of this and to prepare for those items that are going to have longer lead times, it has been a moving target over the last year in order to prepare for those and to try to stay ahead of them. So it's caused quite a few delays. You look at us, a year and a half ago, Tom, we were building houses in 6 to 8 months. Today it's taken us a year. Mm-hmm. That's not because we're less organized. That's not because we're less in tune with the job. That's because of lack of material.
So how do you even give an estimate on when a home will be completed?
Well, we're still, we're using the results of what we're doing today in order to establish what it's going to be. We're giving ourselves, where we used to be able to do 30 days from the time we meet the customer to the time we do Their initial design is now 90 days. You know, where banking used to be 15 to 20 days, you know, today we're given 45 days.
What are the components that, you know, everybody knows lumber, but what are you the other day you were talking about carpet, because carpet's petroleum based.
Well, so anything petroleum based, whether it be in shipping, whether it be carpet, AstroTurf is petroleum based. You know, there's how many, you know, hundreds of yards of AstroTurf outside. Everything that is being affected by gas is in our industry. Paint is got petroleum in it,
Wow.
oils in it,
Yeah.
things like that. So,
And when did you start seeing these delays happening, other than lumber?
well, I mean, it started 2 years ago.
Did it really?
Okay.
Okay.
And then we re-evaluated our scheduling. We moved a lot of the items that we knew were going to be issues, such as lumber, such as, you know, brick, you know, shingles, things like that. But
Are the buyers understanding, knowing?
I think that, you know, I think buyers are understanding to a point. You know, there comes a point where the frustration of the situation is going to be there,
They just want to be in their home.
right? I mean, no different than you and I. I mean, you're going to start a home, you're going to be, you know, a year earlier, and a year later, you're like, I just want to be in my home. I just want to be done. And so what you have to do is you got to really push forward on the communication, and that's something that we've had to really work on and focus on, especially over the last couple months, and continue to improve on, because we're in it together.
Right.
You know, it's a teamwork, it's a marriage,
Yeah.
and so especially with the bad news. Hey, we were supposed to have appliances on this day. We don't have them, and I'm sorry.
Right.
And communicating that's not good information, you know, but you got to communicate that too. And, you know, I've even been called out with a couple of our customers. We just need better communication. I'm thinking to myself, wow, we're communicating at an extremely high level, but it's just not
It's frustrating for people, and they, you know, I think as long as they know that the delays aren't on you, it's not because you're not doing something, it's because you're waiting on something to finish up something, to
Sure.
finish up something.
Right.
It's kind of like the domino effect.
Yeah. Well, and you also have a pricing moving target now that we didn't have a year ago. You know, so.
And how are the customers handling that?
Well, exactly. I mean, I had a customer the other day that wanted pine on their ceiling outside, and they changed to white oak. So we give them a price for white oak. Well, 3 weeks later, the price of white oak had almost tripled. Well, we have
In 3 weeks, it
3
tripled?
weeks, it had
Unbelievable.
tripled. You know, I don't want to call it price gouging because it's not.
Yeah.
It's such a moving target that the decisions are having to be made so quick and based off information that's only a few days old, not information that's 90 days old,
Yeah.
that we used to be able to price at.
Yeah. Well, tell me real quickly how many homes you have under contract right now?
Yes.
And do you have every lot in Fairview pretty
Well,
much?
I'm trying. If I don't have every one of them, I'm getting pretty close. So I'm just trying to protect the sandbox.
Yeah.
There's some good builders out there on some great lots, but I think for the most part, you know, Starter Farms is kicking off. We just got our final release from the city.
I was wondering why those homes hadn't been started out there.
Yeah, so it took us 3.5 months to develop that subdivision, and which I think is phenomenal. We got released this morning at 9 o'clock.
So we'll start seeing homes going up there quickly.
You're gonna see,
Good.
You're going to see 10 houses come out of the ground in the next 3 weeks.
Okay, good. I'm going to go fly it today before all the homes start coming
It turned
in.
out beautiful. We pre-benched all the lots. I mean,
Yeah.
we just made it. We did a lot of things on the front side to make the construction side of it a lot easier.
Yeah. When I was going through, I'm doing kind of a synopsis overview with Google Maps, you know, showing where all these things are. And as soon as I got to Stoddard Farms, I saw you'd already had that on Google. You've already
yeah.
got it pinpointed
Absolutely.
on Google, which is
Absolutely.
pretty amazing because,
Yeah.
you know, that's forward thinking. You've already done that,
Yeah.
and someone will see it and find it.
We have really focused on trying to forward think, and I think that you said that extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
But even with the forward thinking, there's still a lot of things in front of us
Yeah.
that we can improve on.
Now, can you tell me about any of your, we've discussed some of the new properties that you bought, but they're not in development yet. Can you release any information
Sure. So
on
Daniel's
those?
Crossing, we just finished utilities on that. We'll be pouring roads. We are going through, we've already passed our zoning on Pinnacle Estates, which is on Stacy Road. That's the 44 acres next to the Toll Brothers subdivision.
Oh, across the street from it?
Across the street
Yeah,
from it.
was that Copa
Yeah,
Farms?
Copa Ranch.
Yeah, Copa
Farms,
Ranch.
yeah. So that has been.
How many lots will be in there?
I believe there's going to be 20 lots.
Okay.
43 acres, so it might be 19 lots.
And these are all Lovejoy, by the way, too.
All
People-
Lovejoy, all Fairview, Lucas area, yeah.
Okay, and then you've got some other stuff in
Dude,
Lucas.
I've got two more that are out there that I'm not ready to talk
Okay,
about yet.
all right.
One of them, very, very, very close. We'll start breaking ground on it this month.
Okay, let's talk about your appliances. What kind of appliances are going to go in here?
And again, appliances is one of those things that we're ordering appliances 9 months before we need them.
Yeah.
And we're buying direct from the factory. So we're starting to see a little bit of relief in that. But it's still a little bit of a delay. You can see a house right now that's almost finished. Well, on March 23rd, we should receive the appliances for this house.
I remember you told me last year, I think the year before, you had stockpiled a bunch of appliances, so I guess you've already run through those.
January 2nd, we ordered 52 house packages of appliances under the assumption the customers were to pick those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll receive those in September.
Okay.
So it gives you a good example of the time delay.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to move into a house this year, you should have ordered your appliances, really early on. And like you said, I mean, to make that order on January 2nd, that was a $1.3 million decision. That wasn't, you're writing a check.
You got to have confidence in the market.
You got to have confidence in the market. You got to know what's going to be in front of you in order to be able to do that.
Is this surface, is this quartzite?
Yeah, quartzite, yeah. Sure is.
Very.
This is a beautiful, beautiful home and a very,
really
very
is.
open floor plan.
And
you have a built-in scullery back behind the wall here. Went to the next level, for sure.
Yeah, isn't this nice?
So who would have thought this was a pantry?
Isn't this nice?
Yeah. Another item that you need to, long lead times, but if you do it right, I mean, some of the lighting that's in this house is just over the top.
Isn't that beautiful? I love that fixture up there.
Did you see the wine room?
No.
Yeah, I'll take you over to show that too. So this is just a bar area. This particular customer's really into nice wines and stuff like that.
I think a lot of people in Fairview are into
Yes,
nice wines.
Yeah, for sure. So this is the wine right here.
And this is what people want: light, bright, open, light floors, lots of light coming in the windows. Fabulous. What's the capacity?
I want to say 300 bottles.
Okay, well, that ought to get them through a year.
That ought to, at least a few months.
And I know you can't tell me exactly what the home sold for, but just roughly can you give me a...
I would say that this house is going to be in the 1.6 to 1.8 range.
The whole package would
You'd be
be...
hitting well over 2 million.
Okay, yeah. And how many square feet?
I want to say it's like 7,600 square feet-ish.
Do you happen to know the bedrooms and bathrooms?
Yeah, 5 bedrooms, 5 bath. No, 5 full baths,
Okay.
2 half baths.
Okay.
Got a workout room over here, secondary bathroom. Okay, this would be your guest suite here. Workout room here. Walks out to a private little veranda off the side. Mm-hmm. I mean, just everywhere you go, the view is just spectacular.
Uh-huh. I'll bet they're excited to be in here.
Yeah, so this is something different that I've done. I've started moving the studies to the back of the house. So now,
Yes,
the place you're spending the most time
exactly.
is now looking at the best view.
Look at that view from the study. Isn't that gorgeous?
There's one of the powder baths. This will be your master suite. So you can imagine your bed over on this far wall, and then that's what you're looking out of.
Now, whose bridge is that?
Well, that bridge is actually owned by this customer.
Any surprises on this home? Things that you thought, well, that's not going to be a big deal, then turn out to be a real challenge?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think in general, when you have a house this long, you know, you got a lot of structural things that you have to think about.
And I want to take a shot of this fireplace too.
Absolutely.
So that's become very popular too.
Well, and what's neat about this, so see you have your fireplace and you got the fire burning down here, but your heat actually comes up here. This would be the bar that takes you out to the swimming pool. And you have another powder bath here.
Now, have you sold the other home you've got coming up on Blondy Jhune yet?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Good.
800 Blondy Jhune. Yep.
That's a pretty lot too.
That's going to be a beautiful lot. When you get back and see where that creek and stuff is, it's really, really gorgeous. Upstairs kids retreat, coming off of the main game room. This would be your utility room here and your mud cabinet. I love the functionality of this utility room. Being able to get the natural light to come in, I think is a real plus.
Isn't that nice? So this is how many car garage?
This is a 2-car, and then you have another 2-car on the other side.
So and plus a lift.
Plus
You've
the
got
lift.
5, really.
Yeah, five garage storage areas, yeah, for sure. Really 6, because with the lift installed, you can have one up high and one down low. And there's always, with these custom features, there's always things you don't think about. So as an example, the railing for the garage door here. This railing is too low, so when you have the second car up there, and the garage door is open, you would hit the car. So we have to raise that railing all the way to the ceiling so that the garage doesn't hit it. So there's always little things that you have to, you don't always catch.
And by the way, folks, this is homes of this size are required to be sprinklered
Yeah.
in Lucas. And did I see foam back there?
Yeah,
so you
foam.
foamed the house too.
We did. Another secondary bedroom here to your left. A lot of the customers are, going online, buying their own mirrors and things like that to really start the decoration. Not bad for a secondary closet, huh?
This is, yeah.
They're coming in, they're building dressers and storage areas inside the bathroom. This house was a little bit challenging. Every room that you walk into, you're seeing a view of the back. So once we do what's called a wish list meeting with Casey, and then Casey will write down all the things that they want to achieve in that house. And then I take that list, and then usually I'll start with the hub of the house, which is going to be if they want an open concept. So kitchen, family room, and then I build the house around that.
Okay.
Then you take in your outer needs, which would be if you got a view or a creek or a tree or something like that, and then you want to start capturing those items in your design. So moving that study to the back so that you get the view. Great example. Moving that entryway to where when you walk in the front of the house, you see all the way back to the back of the house.
Yeah, I love to tell this story. You used to do your designs on a napkin.
Still do.
Do you really, sitting with a customer?
We still do a lot of napkin designs. We sure do. Yeah. I was talking with one of the draftsmen last night, and I hand sketched it in the back of my truck and then sent it over to him to make the changes on it. And so we're driving down the road, and he's trying to decipher what my
scribbling is.
My scribble is, and so I ended up pulling over and drawing it in a little bit more detail instead of just scribble, and had it over this morning to me.
Talk about change orders too, how change orders can slow a home down.
Change orders are the biggest issue that we have right now. I mean, ideally, if it was up to me, I would build a house with no change orders. I mean,
build a spec home, and then it is what it
Nobody
is.
makes money on change orders, and,
Yeah.
and especially today when you have. Oh, let's just take tile as an example. You know, tile is such a moving target. If you pick a tile and it's an upgraded tile, you may or may not be able to get that tile. Say it comes from Italy or France or wherever. Your lead times are going to change.
Yep.
So those change orders are coming at a time when you didn't have time to plan for those items.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And does that, what does that do? Does that change the order of I guess you've got to move people up on other things that they're doing because you can't hold everything off while you're waiting on their home. So does that move them down in the list?
that's probably the thing that I haven't been able to figure out is
Yeah.
that once you make a modification that is going to affect the time, you can't stop the line of people that are already
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
So it's not that you're moving them to the back of the list. You're maintaining the list that's going.
Yeah.
And you're working.
And
on
you've got to put them
those.
back in somewhere.
And you've
in
got to
that.
slip them back in.
Well, I think the last thing we need to see is upstairs.
Utilized the attic space in order to create a play area for the kids.
And one of the things that I noticed too, talk about your wall treatments.
Yeah, so this is
See how,
smooth wall technique.
yeah, see how smooth, I don't know if this camera will pick it up, but
Yeah.
I immediately see it,
Yep.
how smooth it is.
You're exactly right.
And that costs a lot of money to do that.
You can have quality and you can have timing. They work in conjunction with each other, but you're never going to increase your time if you maintain your quality. And so you really have to balance that. You can have it right or you can have it right now. And I think that's something that's hard to swallow.
That's a good way to point that. You can have it
Yeah.
right or you can have it right now.
Yep.
And your subcontractors, are you having a hard time keeping them, or
No,
are
not
you
at all.
you're keeping them busy and they're loyal to you? And
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you know, that same rule has never changed. I mean, be loyal to your subs, and your subs will be loyal to you. Pay them on time, and they're going to do everything they can for you. Subcontractors are not the issue. Getting the materials for the subcontractors to complete their job is where the issues are.
A builder is only as good as his subs
Yeah, that's true.
and the staff. Yeah, why don't you talk about that? How many?
Yeah, we have 17 employees that are working for us today, and
That includes subs and
no, that's 17 employees on payroll.
okay.
And that's a lot of people to run a machine like what we're running.
Like I said, you really have to be organized, or you're going to lose money just in the process of paying so many people.
Well, that's the other thing, Tom. You know, we're not making any more money than what we've made in the past. It's just harder to make it. You know, the material increases are being passed on to the customer, but they're not turning into a profit center for us.
One thing I like how wide this driveway is, so one car isn't going to block. You got two.
Yeah, this is 16 foot wide, so you can have two cars passing. These windows actually open into the family room.
Oh, okay.
So it brings in a whole lot more. See how we built the columns where we took these stone pieces and cut them in half and ran the wires up through the middle of them.
Yeah.
Isn't that courtyard beautiful?
Yeah, it really is.
And it's not square footage, so it's not costing you an arm and a leg to put it together.
I'm sure you probably have people times say, okay, I like that home, build something close to that for me with a few changes.
Yeah. Well, the second they say that, then they start introducing their thoughts into it.
And it's not the same home anymore.
It's never the same home, and I love that. I want to put in those personal touches for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, starting with a concept design, I think that they walked through. I think that's great, and then we modify it from there. I think that's what makes it unique and individualized.
Tony, if someone was going to come to you today and they say, well, I want a home for $1.2 million, a brand new home, with the pool, that's just not going to happen.
You're just not going to see that.
Yeah, because lots out here are $500,000 to $600,000.
Yeah, I mean the lots in Stoddard Farms are $650,000 just for the 2-acre piece of land. So take that out of your 1.2. That's leaving you.
Yeah.
$600,000 for a house and a swimming pool.
And they can't build a smaller home because the development won't allow it because they're protecting the values of the other homes in there.
Well, and it's not going to appraise. When you have a $650,000 lot and you want to put a $300,000 house on it, it's not a $900,000 house.
Yeah.
So you have to protect your subdivision. You have to protect the surroundings, but you also got to protect the customer from themselves and build something that's going to fit that area. So today I think it's 1.5 is probably the minimum that we would build at. And I mean we have houses going today that are in the $3 million range. And I think that's where the market is today based on the prices.
I remember when $1 million was the kind of the barrier, the threshold out here.
Tom, I remember when I built my first $1 million house and how excited I was.
Yeah, and then it became $2 million. That was kind of the upper, and now $3 million used to be, wow, $3 million, but there are homes out here going up there to $3 million.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's houses out here that are in the $5 million, $6 million range right here on Blondy Jhune.
Yeah.
So it's just a different world and a different market. I mean, we're selling today at $198 a square foot, where a year ago we were in the 145s, 150s. Even 165s, was considered a lot, and to have that much of a price increase over such a short amount of time is just unheard of.
How many superintendents do you have?
So right now we have 7 superintendents that are in the field. Our workload on our superintendents is a little bit more than what it used to be. We used to not carry more than 5 houses. Now they're carrying 6, 7, 8 houses.
So how many do you have under construction?
We have 54 under construction with 29 new starts coming out.
Yeah, amazing. Well, so you absolutely, you live right down the street. You know this area, Lovejoy, Lucas, Fairview, and you as passionate about it as I am.
Very much so.
At some time, these lots are all going to be gone. It's all going to be developed out.
Right.
And I tell people, if you don't buy now, you wait for another 4 or 5 years, and these homes are going to look like a steal.
Wait another year.
You think it'll that quickly?
It's coming that quickly. It is absolutely coming that quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, when we sat down 6 years ago, Tom, we talked about eventually Lovejoy was going to become the teardown market. It's here. If you want a lot, you're going to buy a house for $650,000 and you're going to tear the house down to build the house.
I'm actually encouraging people to look to areas like Montecito Estates,
Absolutely.
all the wooded lots,
100%.
and pay $500,000 or $600,000 for a home there.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you don't have to remodel it, take it down. But that's what you're going to be on a brand new lot.
That's correct.
That doesn't have anything special about it.
That's exactly right.
It'll be in a nice subdivision and surrounded by nice homes, but it's not going to have woods, anything
exactly
like
right.
that.
Yeah, I would not wait. Today is the time to be doing it. It is not going to get less expensive.
Hey, Tony, I was been curious about this. Everybody is really interested in a white oak, that look that you've got in there now. And I know white oak is tougher to find. Can you treat red oak to look like white oak?
You can treat red oak, and you can basically bleach it and remove a lot of the redness out of it. You have to be really, really cautious, because even though you're removing that redness out of the oak, it can have a tendency to turn pink on you. If you add a little bit of gray and white stain to your mixture, then you're probably going to be okay, and you're not going to see a lot of that pinkness that has a tendency to come through.
Okay.
So conditioning that wood and removing that is helpful. Especially today when white oak is in such a shortage and so vulnerable in regards to the pricing. A lot of the customers are starting to move to that red oak, and we're just doing a lot more samples and really trying to bleach that redness out of it.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell people how to get in touch with you, your website, web address, and everything?
Yeah. So homesbyjanthony.com. You can contact Casey Gerwer or myself. My number is 972-400-1291. Love to talk with you and sit down and just kind of show you a little bit more detail about what we do and how we do it.
Well, Tony, thank you so much. You've always been so gracious and kind about sharing your homes, and I love walking through them, because when I see them, I'm always thinking, oh, that's a neat idea. I haven't seen that before. And the way you put everything together is everything is handled so professionally.
Thank you.
And I think people just have to understand that sometimes most of the time, delays are not your fault. It's either supply or change orders, and
correct.
it's just that's life.
They're just
So,
a situation we have to work through together.
yeah,
And
yeah, you're a team.
we've been very, very fortunate to have some great customers that are understanding that is the situation that we have in front of us today, and that we're going to do everything we can to get through that. And I think in the end, I think they'll be happy.